Okay, so what you see on the screen now, this is ObserveIT, this is the application, and I'm going to start by showing you the server diary. So what is the server diary? The server diary is the place in our system where you can see all sessions that took place on a specific server. As you can see, I can choose from a list of servers that are currently monitored by ObserveIT. I can choose one server. You can see here that we are supporting a large number of types of servers, including Windows servers, Unix servers, Linux servers, Citrix servers, terminal servers, virtual machines, physical machine servers, as well as desktops. So I'll choose one server to look at, and what you will see below is a list. It's, as you can see, the list is aggregated by date, and for each date you see a summary of all the activities, all the sessions that took place on that server during that date. And for each date you get the list of sessions with some valuable information about each session. For example, what is the session duration? What is the login name that the user used? In case it was a shared account, as I've mentioned to you before, you have the option to actually, David, there is a lot of noise on your end, so try to take the, I'll mute you or mute yourself and then unmute it when you want to talk. Okay? David? Okay, I muted you and I'll continue. So in case the user used a shared account, you can see that we can also identify who was the user behind that shared account. This is important for regulations such as PCI, which requires you to know who is the user that did something. I'm going to show you later how I'm actually covering that. I can see from which client the user actually connected to that server, and I can now click on the blue video icon that we've got here and start replaying the session. So let me click on the icon, and what you see now on the screen, in just a second you will see. There you go. You see a video recording of the session. Everything that the user did is now shown on the screen. You have here an over-the-shoulder view of what the user did, and this is great. This is a fantastic forensic evidence that shows you and proves that a user did a certain thing when he or she were logged on to the server. This is going to help you dramatically to reduce investigation time whenever you have a case that you need to investigate. As I said, this is great. However, this is not enough. It's not enough because no one is going to sit and watch hours and hours of videos. This is not Hollywood, and you're not going to buy a bowl of popcorn and sit and watch these boring movies. You are very likely to miss a lot of events. And therefore, as I've mentioned to you before during the PowerPoint presentation, ObserveIT also analyzes the session and provides you a detailed list of all key actions that took place throughout that session. If you can see, I've got here a red plus icon next to each session, and if I will click on that red button, I will now get a transcript of that session. I will get the list of all the activity here, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you that this is a session that took me here, if I calculate correctly, it's 13-minute session. I'm going to challenge myself and try to tell you what happened in that session in about 20 seconds or so. So let's give it a shot. I can see that user Brad, who actually logged on as administrator at that time, and he logged to this Windows server from his desktop, and what I can see now is that after Brad logged on, he went to the user activity auditing, and then he ran a command line, and then he ran a dir command, then he went to the IIS manager, and then he went to the program manager, to my computer, went to the etc folder and the host file using Notepad. Then he connected to another server, opened the Microsoft SQL Management Studio, opened the ObserveIT database properties, and logged off Windows. There you go. In 20 seconds, I was able to tell you exactly what happened in that session. You know who did what on that server without watching a single second of video. And now, if you still want to investigate a specific event, let's take an example, host file. Host file is a sensitive system file. You may want to investigate what the user did with that file. So by clicking on the red icon, which is used just like an index to the video, if you click on that, it is going to now take you straight to the point in time in that video, and you are able now to start and replay the session from that point onward. So instead of watching hours and hours of videos, ObserveIT allows you to pinpoint the event and start replaying only that event. Now, while I'm doing that, I would like to show you one more thing. One of the tasks that I'm sure that any person likes more than anything else is to document what he or she were doing, to document the process, to document the change. Of course, nobody likes that. And what ObserveIT does is, as you can see here, we've got an HTML button that allows you to do everything automatically. Let me stop here and just explain to you what you see here. You see here numbers that are running here. Basically what ObserveIT does not really record any video. Whenever a user logs onto a session, ObserveIT kicks in and start taking a screenshot and then snapshots of the changes that take place on the screen. This is resulting, first of all, in a very low amount of required storage because we don't really save any videos. But also what you see here is basically what we call a slide number or a frame number, which is the number of that specific action within the entire video. And now let's say that slides number 77 to 88 represent a specific process, let's say, of installing a new firewall. So I'll click on the HTML button, and now I will just type here the numbers 77 to 88 and click on the Export to HTML button. This is now going to create for me a full step-by-step documentation of my of that session, and all I'll have to do now is maybe add some additional text to that, PDF it, and maybe store it under my SharePoint or knowledge base or print it for documentation. And this is one of the reasons why IT people love ObserveIT. Not only that it helps them to troubleshoot problems that they have encountered, it also helps them to document processes, which is something that they hate to do, all of them. So let's close that and continue. Now, that might sound to you like, hey, this is a great solution, but I can tell you that this is also not enough. It is not enough because I knew exactly what session I wanted to look at, and I knew exactly what I'm looking for. However, in the real scenario, you probably have hundreds or even thousands of servers and hundreds and maybe thousands of users. And of course, this is resulting in thousands and thousands of sessions over a long period of time. And in case you want to find something, you will have a problem. And this is why ObserveIT takes all the information that you see here on the screen, together with additional 30 fields, more or less, with information about the user, the server, the client, the application name, the process name, time, date, etc. And all this is information is indexed, and now what you can do is a Google-like search. As you can see, I've got here my search utility or my search tab, and now I can search across all sessions by all users. For example, and I'll take the same example that I've just shown you, I'll search for the keyword hosts. If I'm searching for the keyword host, you will see that I'm getting a list now of all sessions where the keyword host was used. And by the way, it could be used as a file name, but also as a username, as a folder name, as an application name, as a process name, etc. And now I can, of course, replay the session and see exactly what happened with that keyword host. I can also expand it and get information, and here you will see in bold where was the keyword host actually used. What you could probably notice here that I've got information or results that are covering both Windows servers but also Unix servers. And since you told me before that you're also running a Unix environment, let me quickly share with you what we can do on the Unix part. I'm going to go to a Unix session, and I'm going to now show you quickly an SSH session. So let's click on the play button, and let's see what we see on the screen now. So it's going to start in just a second. Let me stop it so I can try and read together with you what the user did here. I can see that the user ran a ps command, and then it was followed by a who command and an id command. Let's go a little further, and you see that the user ran a tput command, and after that an ls command, and then the user ran a script called innocent script, followed by another ls command, and the user logged out. What you saw on the screen is that the user explicitly launched around 6, maybe 7 commands. And this is great, but I can tell you that there are other tools that can provide you with the exact same functionality at no cost. I'm going to show you now that ObserveIT can do way and beyond. As you remember, we have here, when we click on the red icon, we have the session analysis. And if I'll click on that, the session will expand. And the first thing that you see on the screen is that there are more than just 6 or 7 commands. There are a lot more, actually. Many things that I haven't really seen on the screen. For example, rm. rm is a delete command, which I haven't seen on the screen. Let me try and expand the session, or expand this line, and I can see that the folder finance was removed. If I'll expand it even more, I can see that some files were deleted. For example, the balance 2012 file was deleted. But hey, I didn't see any of these on the screen. So, as I showed you before, I can click on the red button, and if you remember, and I'm sure that you do, the red button actually takes us to the point in time within the video where this event actually happened. And if I'll click on it, as you probably guessed before, this is now showing me that that delete function actually took place while the user was running innocent script, which means that it wasn't so innocent after all. And ObserveIT is the only tool in the world that will show you not only what the user explicitly typed, not only what happens above the surface, but also what happens under the hood. And as you probably know and you're probably aware of, a lot of the things that happens on Unix and Linux systems is actually executed via scripts. And ObserveIT will help you to cover that and satisfy your auditors and security officer. Let's continue. I'll just, without showing you, I'll briefly mention that we have here a user diary, which will allow you to show what a specific user did across all servers. This is something that is normally used when you suspect a user, and then you want to see everything that a user did. Now, before I've shown you, and I promised to show you how we're doing that, I showed you that whenever a user logged on using a shared account, I can also identify who was the user. For example, in that case, I can see that the user logged on as administrator, but one time it was Sean, and the other time it was Yogev, and another time it was Ilan. Let me show you how we do that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to remotely connect to a server which is monitored by ObserveIT. I'm going to log on using the shared account administrator. And I got stuck. So now I'm going to connect to a server using the administrator username in order to log on to that server, and I've defined within ObserveIT that whenever a user is going to use this specific shared account administrator, ObserveIT, the first thing, let me just put in the password. Whenever the user is doing that, ObserveIT will kick in, will lock the session, and will force the user to put in their own credentials. So I'll put here my credentials. Probably someone changed it as well. If someone wants to take a revenge. No. Okay. And so this is how we are able to actually identify who was the user that used that logged on as administrator. If someone asks you, you can say that the user will still be administrator. He'll have all the administrator privileges. However, we will be able to define the user within ObserveIT. The next thing that comes up, it's optional. You can integrate ObserveIT with a ticketing system. Now, what does it do? There are several ticketing systems out there, for example, ServiceNow or Remedy, and we can integrate ObserveIT with those systems in the following way. The first thing that will come up is a message asking the user to provide a ticket number. Now, the user will have to provide a valid ticket number, and if the user does not have a valid ticket number, ObserveIT can lock the user out of the session and not allow the user to log on. So this allows you to actually enforce another layer of segregations of duty. So even if I have the credentials to log on to the server without a valid ticket number, I will not be able to do that. What happens now is that ObserveIT will record that session and then will actually store a link to that session in the ticketing system, which will allow you to replay from within your ticketing system all the sessions that are related to a specific ticket. The next thing, which is again optional, it's a message, and this is a message that is in many cases required by many compliance regulations. For example, PCI Section 12, or if we want to be more precise, Section 12.5.1, mandates the organization to deliver policies on an ongoing basis to users that have access to credit card holder information. With ObserveIT, not only that you can deliver those policies to the users, you can also ask the user to acknowledge the fact that they read the message, and this is also going to be recorded by ObserveIT, which is again in PCI section 12.5.6. You are required to make sure that the user is aware of your policies. And here, by recording that fact, the user will not be able to deny the fact that he or she were actually reading that policy. And now the user can do whatever they want. They can continue and work. Maybe they will run a new system, and this new system is called David Cause. I'm showing you this system because this is a tell me that there is a system like that. No, that was search. So let me run a system. I'm sorry. Isn't there? Where's the run button?
Looks like that's gone.
Hold on. I'm actually sorry. It's this one. I was running it from the wrong server. So let's run David Cause. And this is a new system that we have just implemented, and because it does not, this is a system that does not generate any logs, I might be in a problem because my auditor will tell me, hey, your systems must provide you with the means to audit them. So here I can now work on that new system. Let's assume that it's a working system, and I'll close it now, and I can continue and work normally and do whatever I want. Now, what I would like to show you is what actually happens, or what do you see from ObserveIT. I'm going to log in back to my ObserveIT, and I'm going to show you the server that I've just logged on to. And this is a server called OIT Hosted Demo. Okay, so what you can see here is that there is a session with a slightly different icon, and this slightly different icon shows you that this is a live session. And ObserveIT allows you to actually watch users while they're doing what they do. You can see here that we have identified that the user administrator is Amir. I can now replay the session, and actually what I'm doing now, I'm shadowing in near real time what the user is actually doing on his machine when he's working. If I'll minimize that, you can also see that this new application that we never tested before is already generating logs. By the way, when I'm replaying the session, I've got two options. One of them is to communicate with the user. And the second one, if the user is doing something that they shouldn't be doing, we can also kill their session. So the next thing that I want to show you is how I can take this information and use it from within a SIEM product. I've got here, and as an example, I've got here Splunk, and I'm going to log on to Splunk now. Now the information, by the way, when you show that, have it open. Everything should be open in advance. Okay, you should have all the links, and you should be showing that.
Okay.
So now I'm going to log on into Splunk, and let's open the Splunk application. And view the activity dashboard. And put here the keyword PA star and all time. So what do we see here on the screen? This is a dashboard, but ignore the dashboard. The important thing is the information that is feeding the dashboard, or the information that you see on the dashboard. This is all information that is actually coming from ObserveIT. You see here, for example, the most used applications that took place on the servers, and one of them is that meet these criteria that I put here. One of them is PAINT, Paint. And I'm showing you this application is because the Paint is an application that normally does not generate any logs. If you remember, we were talking before about one of the problems that SIEM products have, and these problems is that there are so many applications that don't generate logs. With ObserveIT, I now have full coverage for those applications. And let's take we'll drill in and take one session as an example. And here, after I drill in, all the information that you see here is no longer in ObserveIT. It's actually in your SIEM product. And I've got here a session, and I can see that the user used Paint in the session, and I can click on the video, and now it is going to actually replay the session from ObserveIT. So I have to log on for the first time to ObserveIT, and you will be able to see now the video or the exact time within the session where the user was actually using Splunk. So this is immediately giving you a full visibility for all systems, including systems that don't generate logs. However, there is more to that. One of the things that you need to do when you are investigating an event is to start and correlating many events together and then try to figure out what the hell happened there. With ObserveIT, you are going to reduce dramatically the time that is required for that. You are going to be able to also provide very clear and understandable, human readable information to the auditor if the auditor is asking you something. How do we do that? I'm going to give you an example taken from the database world, which will probably be a good way to explain. So let's say that you received a log from a database saying that a specific database table was deleted. Now you can correlate the event with an event that is actually coming from ObserveIT, and you can correlate the information, let's say, based on a timestamp and a server ID. And then you can see not only the log files from the database that shows you that the table was deleted, but now you can also replay the video from ObserveIT that will show you what was the DBA's action that led to that event. And this is a great feature. By the way, let me just quickly show you something. Now I'll go back to my dashboard, and I will put here now the new system that I was mentioning to you before, David Cause, that I was trying to run before, and you will be able to see that I already have one instance of that, and if I'll drill down, you will be able to see now that session. Let's see. There you go. Here's the session, and within that session, you can see, oh gosh, don't tell me it didn't. That's crazy. It didn't work. Normally it does. Gosh. So now I can click on the icon, and this is now going to take me straight to the point in time within the video where this event actually took place. Yes. Nothing is working. Should have taken me to the... Oh, no, it's not, because it's... Oh. Didn't you see?
It took you to the login.
Okay. By the way, this is one of the reasons why I try to talk in between, because it takes some time to deliver this. Okay, there you go. Now you'll see. That's how it's supposed to work. You saw it a few times in demos, right? That it's working.
That's correct. Yes.
Unbelievable. Anyway, so this is it. And the last thing that you may want to show is there ObserveIT also offers reports. Normally I don't talk a lot about the reports. I just say that reports can be either you can generate reports using a report generator and either run them ad hoc, or you can schedule a report to run on a periodical basis and send it by email to a specific stakeholder. The other thing that we have is the configuration. This is what makes ObserveIT really, really powerful, the ability to define how ObserveIT would work and behave in different ways in different scenarios. The important parts here that you may want to show are, first of all, the policies. The policies are where you can actually define how the ObserveIT application is going to record the information. So there are various parameters. For example, maybe you want to only record RTP sessions, whether you want to record in grayscale versus in color, whether you want to record users that are offline in case that there's no connection between the monitored server and the application server, and also you can define which users are going to be recorded and which users are going to be excluded from being recorded. And this is all here. This is a self-learning system, so you can also define, once you run ObserveIT, it will start collecting information about the applications that are used on that server or desktop, and then you can define which applications will be recorded and which will be excluded from the recording. What else can I show you here? I can show you the audit part. The audit part is where you actually see which users were actually looking at which sessions. This is in order to make sure that nobody is misusing ObserveIT and watching sessions they shouldn't be watching. So we have a session here for audit the auditors, and I can see exactly which users were looking at which sessions.